Applying paint is a nightmare. There are so many different types and finishes and shades, and on top of that prices, you can go mad. So at some point you've got to make a decision. So like I said before, I've made a decision to paint using a brush and household paint for this prop, because it's not a film prop anyway, and it doesn't have a very complicated paint job. Essentially it's just grey. So I popped out and bought a touch of silver. So it's a light grey, which will be fine. Okie dokie. Nice, nice, nice. Most paint does dry a little darker. So this is a very light indoor. It's a mid sheen, so I didn't want a matte colour. I wanted a sheen finish, so it looked a little bit more, not so much metallic, but not dry, you know, not this dry matte colour. A couple of minutes later. So it was that colour. Now it's that colour. That does look a bit better. Let's get some of that on. Okay, a few minutes later. So this second one, well, you can see the difference in shade now between the two. And you can also notice the finish is better on this one. Why? Because I decided to use my decent 1/2 inch acrylic brush, which has got much finer bristles. So the first coat, yes, it's a little patchy, but that's the first coat. That is way brighter. I mean, I've painted all these as well in the darker grey. So I will paint over this so it's less, it almost looks minty there, doesn't it? Too bright, way too bright. That's much more better, as they say. But the overall effect is pretty good. For a first coat, that's pretty good. What I realized I've got to do is let this dry properly, because if I try to paint over that while it's drying, the second coat pulls the first coat off. It drags it around a bit, which makes it lumpy. So I've got to let that dry properly. So I'm going to do this much to all the others, and then we'll get back to the second coat of everything again. It's just gone April the 1st, and this is not any kind of April Fool. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and I spent all evening painting these three interstitial leg holder things with the paint. Everything takes 2 coats. It's looking quite neat now because once you put 2 coats on, in fact, that patchy bit you can see there has only got 1 coat on it. But once you've got 2 coats on it, it evens out a bit more like the top pieces there. So I'm just going around. You will notice that, I don't know if you can, some of the ridged pieces look a little bit pink. Probably because they haven't had a thick enough coat. But these are taking forever. I haven't even started on the main Y piece yet, but we're reaching the end of these, and we're reaching the end of the 6 legs, which I shall show you tomorrow morning. These are the legs, as you all can see, and because, I mean, this is not an April Fool, but it could be construed as one. Because I'm an absolute cowboy, a complete cowboy, I've decided, after 2 coats of paint, to start putting some filler on the really rough bits. Yeah, don't start having a go at me in the comments. Yeah, I mean, this really should be done at the primer stage, or just do the sanding a little bit neater. I've also found a lot of gaps here, which I've currently tried to fill with some filler, because if you remember, I used mastic, the black mastic stuff to glue the boxes to the legs, but there have been gaps, so I've put some filler on there. Now this, quite a neat job there, actually. Look at that, it's really neat. Yeah, this is not to be advised. It means I'm a complete cowboy and I haven't done my job properly before painting. It's a mixture of being old, stupid, and panicking to get the thing finished. And then the last thing really to do is the inside middle section of those, of these bits need to be black, and these little teeth need to be silver. Here in the middle room where I've tried to tidy up, let there be light. Whoa, how yellow is that? Here's the Y shape. No change from last time. Yes, I will probably learn from my mistake and give this another check over for any major dents or dings that need filling before I start painting it. Look, there's a 7-foot sarcophagus there. And there's his hands. Yeah, that'll be in a future video, hopefully. So yeah, this is going to take 2 or 3 coats of paint. I've got plenty of paint, just not enough time. I've got, it's April the 1st now. It's kind of morning-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 4 days. It's Sunday afternoon here for me, about midday-ish, and that's the 2nd of April. I've got 4 days. I think what I'm going to do is, by the time you're watching this, I'll still be painting. That's the last thing to do, painting and assembly. If I can assemble it by the time you watch this, by Tuesday, brilliant. If not, I'll do a wee little extra video just showing what it looks like when it's all together, because I don't want you to miss out, because I've got to get this ready for picking up and taking away, so it's got to be wrapped, etc. Also, I've been out the back spraying 12 of these silver. They don't need to be sprayed in the middle, if you're wondering why they're still a bit orangey in the middle. I need to put something on there which I still kind of haven't worked out yet, which is a bit late in the day. But basically these go where they are marked on the sides here. The little holes, sorry you can't see, the little holes either there and there are going to be where wires are going to go through to hold them in place, because like I say, glue will probably just peel the paint off this, and I don't want that. Yeah, so we're going to have those either side with some kind of black disc on there. Might just be a black foam disc, I don't know. Let's quickly go to the front room where I've been starting the painting of the main Y section. The middle room, which has all the space, no pun intended, is dark. It's very dark. I need to get that sorted. This room has all the light, as you can see, and as you can see, I'm beginning to get the top of this the first coat. So the colours are more muted because there's grey going on. I'm going to carry on painting all this today, and then I've got to do the sides, and then I've got to do the back, and then I'm going to do a quick assembly and work out some straps for it to be worn, as it were. Yeah, this is taking a long time to paint for 2 reasons. One, it needs at least 2 coats of paint, in some cases 3, depending on, because sometimes you see the pink of the foam showing through, so you've got to just check you've got no pinky bits. Secondly, I have been painting it with a very small canvas brush, a 1/2 inch sable brush. Tiny brush. Yikes, 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 yikes. Where's the other one? Yikes. Paint. Yikes. And the reason I've been doing that is when I first started painting, as you may remember from earlier video, either in this week or maybe last week, I used a domestic home plastic bristled brush, and it was leaving lines, bristle lines all over it, which ain't good. So I want to get the smoothest possible finish, so I'm using my very nice Old Faithful 1/2 inch acrylic brush, and it's doing a nice job, but it is like, you know, cleaning a toilet with a toothbrush. It takes a long time. So it's coming along nicely. Like I say, 6 o'clock. I'm tired, I'm covered in paint. There's not much more I can do on this now while it's wet. The problem is, you see, with this paint, it dries quickly, but if you start painting over it while it's still drying, you end up pulling the previous coat with the brush, and it makes it all rough and horrible. It's happened once or twice, so you have to move on and move quickly. Anyway, I'm going to go wash my brush. For a Sunday afternoon, this is pretty good. Thinking about what else needs to be done. I think we're in good shape to deliver on Thursday. So, okay, and that's 12 discs painted silver. I've been making little aluminium staples, as it were, to go through the little tiny holes on the now silver trays. Thanks to Wellesley for helping me with those. And we have fitted them all on the sides of the interstitial legs. So there's one either side. And as you can see, on the inside, the staples are just folded over. It's aluminium wire. So if ever this needs to be taken apart, you can just unbend them and pull them straight out. But that's going to hold on a lot nicer than glue. Remember the center greebly? Let's paint that black. Black gloss. So that's nice center greebly for the Y shape. And yeah, I quite like the way these look now. Obviously, the rest of these circles have got to go onto the Y once it's painted and dry. But so far, we're getting there. Got some black and some silver paint, and I have a very small brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is paint the teeth on these 5-pointed shapes silver. I'll do the silver first, because then if there's any overflows, this middle section, which is kind of a 5-pointed star, will be painted black anyway, so I can neaten it up. So let's get on with those, and I'll take a snap once we're all done. Okay, it's 10:30 in the night on a Sunday, and I've painted the silver, and I had some satin black to do the interiors, but we're not finished there. For a start, that one's a bit weak. I need to get some more black in there, I think. What I want to do, maybe I can put a picture up here. In comparison, I think there should be a silver ring connecting all these 5 teeth together. So once the satin black is dry, which will take a good 24 hours because it's very sticky stuff, it's a Humbrol, then I will paint that silver line, or silver circle, basically around all of them to make them look better. It looks nice with some detail on. I wish there was a bit more painted detail on this entire thing, to be honest, because it's quite a bland thing for one shade of grey. I mean, I could weather it up, but these things weren't seen weathered at all. But generally happy with that. Okay, next. Monday morning, we're cutting it fine. So I was looking for something to go here, something black and flat. You know, it's like if I was going to cut out a piece of foam, this size would have been ideal, but I don't have 12 of those. I thought maybe the inside of a CD case, too big. CD is way too big. Then I was like, what can I buy? Maybe some kind of coaster. You know, you put a mug on, can't get circular coasters, and can't get 12 of them at short notice. So I went to a walk at my local hardware store, and I came across these furniture sliders. Essentially a plastic tray with a piece of EVA foam on it. I mean, they're not circular, admittedly, and they're a wee bit small, but it's time to use artistic license when you start panicking. So let's take one out. It is a very shiny plastic hexagon with a piece of EVA foam. It's not particularly central, but that'll make a good base to glue to. So I'm thinking, drill a hole right through so you can still get the pencil in, and then pop it on there. That's not terrible. That's not too bad. I'm wondering actually if I can take this foam. Is it too high? Let's have a quick look. It's not terrible. It's going to have to be sprayed black though. So I need to drill them and spray them black. Yeah, I'm going to go with these. So I bought 12. They come in packs of 4. And they're only £2.39 each. So at short notice, very locally, these will do. And yes, they're not the right shape, or they look nothing like the actual detail, but that kind of thing will cover up the hideousness. And it's 6-pointed, it's slightly imperial, it's, you know, this is 6-pointed, this is 6-sided. It kind of fits the design scheme. I don't think anyone's going to complain too much, and if you do, you're a pedant. It's Monday, for goodness sake. It's getting picked up in 3 days. Alrighty. Alright, now it's getting silly. It's Monday afternoon, and I'm probably going to be up all night tonight editing this video. But again, more progress, rushing along. I've painted the hexagonal thingy bobs, and I've used some of the cool old black mastic stuff to glue them onto the things, and I think they look pretty cool. So the remaining 6 will go onto those interstitial legs, and yeah, that's that for now. Okay, this is the last bit of footage I can show you because I'm in the middle of editing today's video, being Tuesday. As you can see, I've done basically a test assembly. It all seems to have worked out quite nicely. I mean, it looks, I'm quite chuffed with the way it looks. There's still more paint to go on the middle Y. The black greebly, which is over there, goes on the center. And as you can see, I've got pencils jammed in there for the legs. Now, the interstitial legs, obviously I've got the silver things to go on there as well. The interstitial legs are held on. You can just about make out the tab, see with a pencil through it, and there's 2 of them on each leg, and that goes all the way around, and the pencils go in the side into the holes of the swivelly legs, like this. They should be at that angle, that kind of angle. At the moment, they swivel far too well. I'm not going to move these too much, so I don't want to scrape the paint, but I might have to put something in from the back face of the thing just to keep them at an angle like that, but that's not a problem. And I've got to get the straps on. Other than that, I've got to give it another little bit of paint, get those silver things on the sides of the Y shapes, and we're looking good. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. More footage maybe next week. So that's it for the Andor thingy build. As I say, I will get plenty of photos and hopefully some footage from Star Wars Celebration so you can see what's going on with it and what it finally looks like, and Mr. C, who's mad enough to wear it. Big thanks to Mr. C for the commission. Big thanks to Nick for picking it up and taking it to London for me, saved my life. And thanks to my mate Rodri for helping me get our sarcophagus together, which is nearly assembled. Just got to do the front details and pop the top onto the bottom, and then we're going to start painting and detailing, which will be nice. That's for Bloody Students. If you have never watched any of my videos before, Bloody Students is my second feature film, and if you go to bloodystudents.co.uk, you can find out about it. It's going to be a comedy horror film with Egyptian mummies. What's not to like? If you can help us in any way, especially with donations, because we're raising money, that would be awesome. Check it out, find out what it's all about. I'm all on all the socials as well: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And my first feature film has a lot of news. If you have been following me for the last 6 or 7 years, yeah, basically 7 years to the day, we have some big news. I can't announce it yet, but you will find out very soon. Anyway, that's all from me this week. Take care now. Bye-bye then.